Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're back talking about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. In the last few weeks, new and truly disturbing details have started to surface. Hidden secrets and small clues that, when put together, could tell us a lot more about what's coming in the next chapter. In today's video, we'll especially analyze some secrets, details that seem insignificant at first. But as we know, with mob entertainment, nothing is ever placed randomly. A few weeks ago, I already made a video where we talked about a very interesting statement made by Spencer, one of the members of the mob entertainment team. On that occasion, he confirmed that the star emoji was connected to something much darker, to a secret that would have an important role within the lore of Chapter 5. We already know that the star is related to the walkie-talkie, but there is another secret. What makes this even more unsettling is that this emoji appeared secretly, almost silently, even before Mob Entertainment officially started the marketing for Chapter 5. A detail that very few people noticed at the time, but that today takes on a completely different meaning. In this video, we're going to see where this star appeared for the very first time, in which context, and most importantly, why it could be connected to something much bigger. We'll go through all the possible theories, connect old and new clues, and try to understand whether this symbol could be foreshadowing events, characters, or truly massive revelations for the story of the game. Before we begin though, if you enjoy this kind of content and want to stay updated on all the news, secrets, and theories about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, make sure to leave a like on the video because it really helps the channel a lot. And most importantly, subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming updates that could drop at any moment. That being said, it's the time for the analysis. So let's go to the main topic of the video. First of all, we already know for sure that the star is directly connected to the star-shaped walkie-talkie. This is no longer just a theory, because the walkie-talkie has been officially revealed and also clearly appeared in the Poppy Playtime Christmas video. This walkie-talkie does not seem to be a simple communication tool. Everything suggests that it is a real character with its own consciousness, its own identity, and probably a very specific role within the story. The detail that strongly reinforces this theory is the fact that a face appears on the walkie-talkie's display. This is not a random choice. In Poppy Playtime, when an object has a face, it almost always means that something is alive or once was. It is as if the team is openly telling us that this character thinks, observes, and communicates, and is not just a passive device. Some fans have started theorizing that its name could be Globy, one of the names that appeared some time ago on the trademark registration website linked to Mob Entertainment. Of course, for now, this remains only a theory, and we have no official confirmation. However, one thing seems quite clear. This character definitely has a name, and the fact that it has not been revealed yet suggests that it will be unveiled at the right moment, probably during a crucial phase of Chapter 5. Apparently, this star-shaped walkie-talkie is not an absolute novelty. By analyzing older material, it turns out that it had already appeared in an old Mob Entertainment video. At the time, however, almost no one paid attention to it. And that is understandable. Because back then we did not even know this walkie-talkie existed. And we certainly did not know it could be a real character. Even those who noticed it probably thought it was just a decoration, one of the many objects placed there to enrich the environment or make the game world feel more believable. No one could have imagined that such a small detail was hiding something so important for the future lore. And this is exactly how Mob Entertainment works. They plant clues years in advance, leave them right in front of everyone, knowing that only later they will gain a completely different meaning. Now we know that this walkie-talkie is real, that it is connected to the star, and that it is probably directly linked to other characters that already exist. So at this point, the question is inevitable: where exactly is this walkie-talkie located? And most importantly, why could it be connected to one of the old Poppy Playtime characters? And that is exactly what we are about to see now. Now let's take a look at where the star-shaped walkie-talkie has already appeared. And this is where things get really interesting, because this detail was not hidden inside files or leaks, but appeared publicly in an official Mob Entertainment video. The walkie-talkie appears in the video dedicated to the Omni Hand, published on the official Mob Entertainment YouTube channel. In a specific scene of that video, if you look carefully at the background, you can clearly spot this star-shaped walkie-talkie placed inside the environment. At the time, however, this detail went completely unnoticed. And as we said before, that's understandable, because back then we didn't even know this walkie-talkie existed, and most importantly, we didn't know it could be a real character. Anyone who might have noticed it probably thought it was just a simple decoration, one of the many props used to make the environment feel richer and more believable. But now we know that it was not a decoration at all. Looking back, we can say that this detail was already a clue, deliberately placed by Mob Entertainment long before the marketing for Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 even began. A classic example of foreshadowing, teasing future story elements without drawing attention to them. And we have also to consider another detail. In fact, this walkie-talkie is located in the same room as Yarnaby, and this immediately opens the door to a series of questions and theories. If this character's name really is Globy, as many fans have theorized, then there could be a direct connection to Yarnaby, even if at first glance they seem to have nothing in common. In fact, both the names Yarnaby and Globy end in the same way with the same letters. Yarnaby is clearly a mascot inspired by a lion with a very specific and recognizable animal design. The star-shaped walkie-talkie, on the other hand, has nothing that even remotely resembles a lion, neither aesthetically nor conceptually. However, in Poppy Playtime, connections between characters are almost never purely aesthetic. Very often they are narrative, symbolic, or linked to experiments, to the roles they had inside Playtime Co., or to something that happened behind the scenes. So the fact that these two elements share the same room might not be a coincidence at all. They could have been created during the same period, involved in the same project, or connected by a dynamic we still don't know about. Mob Entertainment never randomly chooses where to place an object, especially when that object later turns out to be a key character. The star-shaped walkie-talkie is not there by accident, and the fact that it appears specifically in Yarnaby's room could be a huge clue that only now we're able to interpret. If this character was introduced so early, hidden in the background, and if it's connected to an already existing character, then its role in Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 could be far more important than we imagine. Now, let's move on to another very important detail that appears in the same video, an element that many noticed, but not everyone has analyzed thoroughly. It's the little note that appears in several shots. On this note are written 3 experiment names, or rather, 3 experiment numbers. Numbers that, as we know, in Poppy Playtime are never shown randomly. Because behind each of them, there is a character, a failed experiment, or something much darker. The numbers written are 1007, 1172, and 1322. Let's start with what we already know. Experiment 1322 is Doey the Doofman. The number 1172 is most likely Kissy Missy. And at this point, there is only one number left, 1007. The first natural hypothesis is that experiment 1007 could be somehow connected to the prototype, which we know is experiment 1006. But there is another detail that completely changes the perspective. In the video where this note appears, the walkie-talkie also appears. And at this point, the question is this: what if it is experiment 1007? We know that the walkie-talkie is not an object, but a character. If this walkie-talkie really is experiment 1007, it would explain why it was hidden so early, why it appears in this context. Of course, remember, it's a theory. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.